on Riffs, Spirits, and Gear, we talk about in-ear monitors. One of the questions I am most often asked is, hey, Fluff, what in-ear monitors do you tour with and why? Now, that's seemingly a kind of a simple question, but also it's kind of a in-depth answer because really for me, my in-ear monitoring journey has been kind of a long one, and I feel like I've finally found, a good balance between cost, comfort, and sound quality. So when I first started playing guitars, you would see huge bands with, the in-ear monitors, the wires coming out of their ears. And that was always, to me at least, something that was kind of unattainable. I would never be in a situation where I would need those. Well, that may have been true at the time. We're talking like early 2000s here, like 2002 or something. That's not really the case anymore. I mean, molded in-ears are becoming more and more affordable, and they're sounding better and better with each passing year. So it makes sense that I'm getting that question more and more as younger bands are looking to transition to more serious live setups. Now, for a long time, my only concern with in-ears was to basically lower the overall volume while getting some sound quality. Now, this really meant getting what was too hi-fi of a sound for me personally, because I'm playing high gain guitar, and my own personal mix when using a set of in-ears is, I'm hearing high gain distorted guitars. I'm hearing a rectifier in my ears. I don't want super hi-fi sounding in-ear monitors, but I don't know. I never really gave it much of a thought. I was just able to lower the volume, and you know what? Sound quality was, always taking a back seat. That all changed when prepping for this latest tour that my band Dragged Under did with Beartooth. So I drove down the 2 hours down to 64 Audio and saw my homeboy Ricky, and he let me just test drive all of the different sets that 64 Audio have to offer. And for the first time, I was actually able to get 2 different in-ear sets that are really fine-tuned for my listening experience. My very first set of molded in-ears are right here, and I made a video detailing this process. Some of you may remember these. These are, I think, 12 drivers, and they were insanely expensive, and they did their job, but they weren't necessarily tailored to listening to high gain guitars, right? Like, these are 12 drivers. They're gonna sound crazy hi-fi, and they're really meant for listening to music, like actual like albums and stuff on iTunes and stuff like that, in my opinion, these particular ones. So they never really sounded super awesome with my guitar tones. My guitar tone was always way too top endy and not enough low end, and I was always trying to EQ it in our in-ear monitoring rig, and it didn't quite work for what I was looking for. So fast forward, I think it's been 4 or 5 years at this point, I now tour 2 sets of 64 Audio in-ear monitors. I primarily use the A6T 6-driver sets, and then as a backup, I have used the N8s, the Nates, which are basically like living inside of a subwoofer. Now, interestingly enough, I started the tour with the N8s as my primary in-ear monitor with the A6Ts as my backups, but that actually kind of changed. So for the first time, I was using the N8s on the Dragged Under tour, and there was a lot of low end, and it sounded really good, but the top end was kind of chopped off on my guitar. I went too far the other way, or so I thought. So then just, one day at sound check, I used the 6-driver A6Ts, and they sounded incredible. They were amazing. They were exactly like how my guitar sounded over the PA out front, and I was very excited. And this made me play better because I sounded better. Sound better, play better. It's just, they kind of go hand in hand. But to back up, this has been a years-long journey for me and my own in-ear monitor experience, because for too long, I would instantly just try to go for the most amount of drivers in a given system, thinking, oh, more drivers is gonna sound better. that actually isn't the case. So when you are trying to choose an in-ear monitor for you and or your band, definitely give consideration to what your primary instrument is and what you expect to hear in your ears. Now for me, the A6Ts are the perfect trifecta to what I look for in an in-ear monitoring system. First and foremost, I want them to lower the volume. I want them to attenuate well the ambient volume of my band. I have a loud ass drummer and things are just loud on stage. So I want to lower the volume. I want it to sound good and I want it to last. I want my in-ear monitors to not be sweated out and to, you know what, things are going to happen on the road and they do get bumped around and they've just been fine. I've only dropped him like once or twice. Hopefully he's not watching this part, Ricky. Hi, 64 audio. But my point is, when you're shopping for an in-ear monitor, it's important that you consider all of the factors, not just price, because it's too easy to simply cheap out. And then what's the point in cheaping out with something like your in-ears? Because your ears are more valuable than any guitar amp that you're gonna be plugging into. So spend my 6 drivers are $1,300, which may seem like a lot, but honestly, if you're playing a $2,000 guitar, that's basically the same thing. Anyways, if anyone is watching this and I have saved them some time, all the better. I have spent years trying to kind of fine tune and even figure out what I wanted in a molded custom in-ear setup. And I knew I didn't want the cheap ones, but I don't want the super expensive ones. So really, if you're looking for sound quality, definitely check out the 64 Audio A6T. My favorite by a long shot. They just sound so good and so natural on especially distorted rhythm guitars and lead guitars, bass guitars, and all that stuff. They just sound really, really good. But I will link down below in the description if you'd like to know more about all things 64 audio. And yeah, with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you liked the video you just watched, please consider subscribing. And if you want to further support me and what I do, consider using some of the affiliate links down below in the description of this video. Go on over to Sweetwater, buy yourself something, and help me out at the same time. It's a win-win for both of us.